everyone. Welcome to Vitamin B with me, Mohana. This is where we help you take control of your well-being. My guest today is Dr. Sonia Tambe, and she's joining us for a two-part episode. In part one, as a neurologist, Sonia Tambe is going to be discussing the world of digital addiction. What is digital addiction? Is there a looming crisis in front of us? Everywhere we look, people have devices. What does this really mean for our health in the future?
There's a very fine line between the digital addiction and digital overuse. Problem with the internet overusage, it releases the same amount of dopamine in your brain just like cocaine. So personal factor is brain always wants quick rewards. That is how the brain has always been. Three classical symptoms of overuse is if you feel restless when you are not using it, if others are telling you that you are overusing it, or if you're lying to others that I'm not using the phone. These are the three symptoms that one has to start realizing. If you are having symptoms like if you feel restless when you are not using the phone, if you have the tendency to always wanting to see the notifications or read the emails instantly, or if you are feeling helpless when your phone is not around you, you might be under the digital overuse.
What happens to us if we keep watching so many videos at this kind of a rate?
This is very still evolving. So that is why people do not know what are the effects of overusage of internet on the brain. Maybe we will come to know 20, 30 years down the line.
Come join us as we explore this dimension and understand the problems, the benefits, as well as how do we truly detox from our gadgets. So sit back, relax, and join me at Vitamin B with Mohana. Dr. Sonia, welcome to Vitamin B. It's an amazing pleasure of mine to have you here with us.
Thank you, Mohana, for having me on this podcast.
Great. How are you feeling today?
I feel good.
I know that, today people are just ending up meeting in such incredible ways, right? And when we were actually looking at people who could support the space of well-being, we actually found your profile on Instagram. And you have some really fascinating videos which caught our attention, and we said that we have to connect with you. So it's so beautiful that social media can actually bring certain people together. And look at us, we're here today.
Correct. I'm very happy that you found my page. Because the reason I started my Insta page is that because every day, on an average, I see around 30 to 45 patients. And then the amount of misinformation they have is, too much. And once you see a certain number of patients, you feel tired to tell them the same thing again and again. So for that reason, I started with this my page, Insta page, just to create awareness, just to make them know more about their brain and their spine health.
You have some amazing videos, by the way, because they're moving videos. You can, sort of make the person feel like they can see like your brain moving and your spinal cord in action. So it's quite cool actually, and we thought it was very nice to bring you here.
Thank you.
Great. I want to talk a little bit about a very important topic. While this podcast might be released a little later, today we're in the middle of such a crisis, right, in terms of well-being for women itself. And you being such a seasoned doctor, an experienced doctor, with the Kolkata rape case, and every day there's a rape case that's coming out, right? It's not uncommon in the world, but it is happening in India in such a manner. And I think culturally we come out and we stand against horrific rapes, right? So we hear about it more. But as a doctor, how are you feeling? What's going on, right?
It gives me chills to even think what happened to that girl on that night. Because as doctors, we are under Hippocrates oath, and we are supposed to treat people from all background without without even knowing whether they are addicts or whether they are criminals, whether they have just stabbed someone and come. It doesn't matter. You are just supposed to treat them. And during such cases, we encounter many violent people. And as the duties run very long hours, 30 plus hours, we tend to feel very tired in the middle of the night and in between 2 to 3 a.m. Most of the doctors have slept everywhere in the hospital,
Yeah.
be it in an OT room corridor,
Yeah.
be it in the wards, be it in some dark, dingy corner in the hospital. And it really gives me chill to think that anything could have happened.
And you would have slept in a space like where she would have
Yes,
also, right?
yes, we have. And the other thing is that in the middle of the night, 2 to 3 a.m., women doctor are running from ward to ward, corridor to corridor to arrange blood for the patients,
Yeah.
to get consent for the treatment, to get consent for the surgery. And during such situations, we really do not think that
Yeah.
what might happen. The hospital has always been a safe haven for doctors. And to see what happened in Kolkata, it just breaks my heart and gives me chills.
I think the medical community has been trying to fight this out, right? Because there've been attacks on doctors. It's the series of things, right? So, what, as a doctor, as a female doctor, what are your expectations from the government and our law?
See, since 2019, there is a proposal to bring a law on violence against doctor, but it is not going anyway forward. What I want government to improve healthcare system, not only for doctors but also for the patients.
Mm.
Okay, to provide better infrastructure, to recruit more and more doctors instead of just forcing doctors to do bonds, forcing interns to do long duty hours, recruit more doctors. Okay, provide them infrastructure, provide them better pay scale. They will not go out of the country and will not be at lack of doctors, good quality doctors.
And we have such an amazing set of like medical system. People
Correct.
travel everywhere to come here.
Correct.
So I really wish the community the best. And we are, as public and personally me, I really feel a lot for this situation. And hopefully, in India, we see a marked difference as well.
Hopefully.
All right. So just on that somber note, but a hopeful note as well, we're going to engage a lot in terms of just what's going on around us, right? The fact that someone's going to see this podcast means they're digitally actually accessing us. But ironically, a lot of people are digitally sort of hooked on or even addicted, as we call it, right? So I think we'll spend some time in that space as well. So I want to start with like some sort of a rapid fire, right?
Sure.
So digital addiction, right? Which age group has it the most? Okay, let's start with which generation in, let's say, India has it the most today?
Gen Z, the ones born between 1996 to 2010,
Okay.
they are called digital natives. They are
Yeah.
also called digital age group because they have not seen the era before the digital revolution happened. So they are the ones who are most addicted to digital gadgets.
So what age group would that predominantly
That would be around 18 to 30 years of age. They are the one who are most
18 to 30.
Yes.
Okay. And what device are they using the most, which is making them sort of get hooked?
Yeah, there was a study recently in 2023 itself.
Okay.
Phone is something that they are using the most. 95% of people who are accessing internet, they're accessing it through the phone. And around 65% of them are using laptop or other personal computers as well. Because phone is very easily available. It is something that you can carry everywhere. And people start panicking if they have left their phone back in home. So that is the kind of, use that we are making.
Wow. So 65% uses more than one device, but the
95%
population,
people are
95% is using the, overall people are using the mobile phone, which is addictive.
Yes.
What are they watching?
In India, the most commonly watched videos are music videos.
Okay.
On YouTube is the most commonly watched social media. YouTube music videos are the one that is watched most frequently.
Okay.
And that is followed by entertainment.
Yeah.
And then viral content. That is followed by news and health.
Okay.
Health content.
Okay, cool. And what is one top disorder that, like, the people who are addicted are getting because of this?
See, there's a very fine line between the digital addiction and digital overuse.
Okay.
You never know. You and me might be using more of digital media. We might be overusing without us knowing.
All right.
The classical definition of addiction is internet gaming disorder, internet shopping disorder, and internet porn disorder. So these are the ones that come under classical definitions of addiction.
Okay.
But majority people who are using phone are actually overusing the phone because they are crossing anywhere from 6 to 9 hours of usage of phone every day without them realizing it. if you are having symptoms like if you feel restless when you are not using the phone, if you have the tendency to always wanting to see the notifications or read the emails instantly, or if you are feeling helpless when your phone is not around you, you might be under the digital overuse.
Overuse.
Yes.
So okay, let's stay on this. But if you were to just say that you have one disorder that's coming out as a generation, right?
Mhm.
What is that? Is it like is it leading to, let's say, for example, a mental disorder or anything that you have noticed?
So it is, as I said, there is no classical definition that has
Interesting.
been placed.
Okay.
Okay. Even though DSM-5 is the criteria, which is directory for the mental
Sure.
conditions,
Yeah.
that doesn't have any classical definition of internet addiction except for internet gaming disorder.
Got it.
Okay, but all other people
Got
fall
it.
under internet overusage.
Yeah.
And there is very fine line between appropriate use, internet overuse, and internet addiction.
I still remember DSM-4 because I did psychology, right? I did a master's in psychology, and it's already become DSM-5. And none of this was there 10, 15 years back, right?
And this is very still evolving. So that is why people do not know what are the effects of overusage of internet on the brain. Maybe we will come to know 20, 30 years down the line, because the digital media revolution has happened in early 2000s. So it's still very early to know what effect it is going to have on brain.
Interesting.
Because the brain affects the hazards of digital overusage will start probably once we cross 50, 60 years. That is when brain is going to shrink faster. With internet overusage, obviously you are not using your mind much. Okay, the internet is becoming smarter, your mind is becoming dumber. So what it is impact it is going to have on the brain, we come to know only in future.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting because so are we saying that digital overuse is touching more people, but digital addiction is something that we're very clear in terms of our stats, etc. Okay. So what happens to the brain? Let's say you're normally using, let's say, few hours in the day, which hopefully is not daily. I mean, overuse of digital media, and you have overuse on the other end, and addiction potentially worse off, right? So how is the brain working in these two broad opposite spectrums?
Yeah, so when I say overusage, if you are using your phone as a distraction from the work that you actually have to do, so that is overusage. For example, imagine a situation, you have to do some work and that is stressing you out, and you just open your phone and then you watch a small music video. It makes you feel good because it releases dopamine in your brain, and dopamine is a feel-good chemical. And then you don't want to stop there. Your brain always wants more and more dopamine, and then you watch another video, and you just enter the loop of over watching videos, because your brain can never be satisfied with the amount of dopamine it releases. Whereas in appropriate use, your serotonin is more. You watch a video, and then your brain is satisfied. It is satisfied, and you just close your phone and watch it. If you can balance that, if after watching one video, you can just close your phone and then keep it, you have better serotonin in your brain. If you want to watch more and more, you have dopamine over release in your brain. With the problem with the internet overusage, it releases the same amount of dopamine in your brain, just like cocaine. Okay, it is just like what cocaine does to your brain. Just that with cocaine, you run out of money. Whereas with video, the amount of content, it is infinite. You can never run out of content, and you can just watch hours and hours and hours, suffer the same problems just like a cocaine addict and not even realize.
Wow. And this is the effects on the brain is age agnostic. That is young kids that you talked about, 18 to 30, older people. I can see my mom pretty much holding the phone but saying I'm not overusing it, right? So is there any difference in terms of how the brain reacts and responds with age groups?
Yes, see, because people born after 1996, they do not know the world before the internet. Internet was actually there, and their brain is very malleable. All the connections in the brain have still not formed. The area for reading, writing, social interaction, the areas that are supposed to do all the physical work, the brain areas that will keep you calm, those areas have still not developed. So they are just from day one. Even people, we see babies being given phone while they are being fed.
Yeah.
Previously, we used to show Chand or Tare. Now we are showing videos,
That's just
cringe
appalling,
videos
right?
on the video,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
feeding them.
Yeah.
Imagine what effect it will have on the baby's brain.
Yeah.
They do not know screen time. All they know is just screen time.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a beautiful statement, right? But it is very appalling as to why parents are making this choice. It seems easier, but then a lot of other problems are going to surface eventually, right? So, yeah.
That is because most now we are not living in combined families. We are in nuclear families. Everything that you learn is not from your grandmother. You learn it from internet. You learn it from phone.
Yeah.
From how to give birth to your baby, to how to feed, to how to what things that you have to teach to baby
Yeah.
are all coming from phone. And obviously there are going to be biases.
Yeah.
And obviously they are going to include this digital time when they are uprising the
Yeah.
bringing up the babies.
Yeah, absolutely. So, doctor, I want to talk about how devices are constructed, right? So, they're made in such a way that there are certain features, right, which actually make you get addicted, like hooked. So, there are times when I see myself like just simply picking up the phone and waiting for notifications. Okay, so they obviously there is a neural connection that I've made, a habit that I've made, right? And until you become conscious about it, you can't really do something about it, right? Earlier, and there is this phenomena, right? You open the fridge, you keep going and opening the fridge, right? In your home, even if you're not hungry. I feel like something like this has replaced an innocent act of like opening a fridge.
Right.
So your brain has that capability of doing it. But what happens in devices and features that it's causing this kind of addiction?
See, one is the phones have become go-to device whenever one feels stressed. Number two is the colors, the bright colors that are there on the phone. They keep you hooked. Number three is the device notifications.
Yeah.
The ding that you get on your phone immediately makes you turn and pick up the phone and watch that video. And if you are using certain apps, especially gaming apps, there are small rewards that give dopamine kick to your brain. Just simple likes or upgradation of the game, or even crossing a new level, and then that simple notification that you are getting a new sticker
Yeah.
on your game, or you are getting a new avatar on your. These are small rewards that is brain actually craving for. These small rewards is what makes you keep watching or playing or shopping and things like that.
Yeah, I think when I was a part of a software development company, right? One of the things we were very clear about Facebook and all the known social media platforms, particularly, they hack into the fact that your neurology is wired in such a way that you're typically negative. For some reason, the minute you wake up, brush your teeth, the whole day, you have only negative thoughts. And that has a lot of linkage to human beings when they were, way back in time, hunter gatherers, where it's all your defense mechanisms, right? You know very well that you have to protect yourself against any sort of threat. That has sort of transformed into how we're always thinking of what could go wrong, what could go wrong, and it's manifesting as a negative thought. So they've hacked into this where they're giving you, like you said, shots of dopamine by giving you pleasure through actually having these kind of contents, which long form has become like literally 5-second videos, 10-second videos. This is just the brain's capacity of now understanding and enjoying a video, right? Anything beyond that is becoming a problem. So it's really scary in terms of what it could be, right? Like you said, there are no studies to prove anything in terms of the damages, etc., that happen. Great. So, what happens emotionally, physically, like to us beyond just the brain, right? The brain's reaction is fine, but like, what happens to us if we keep like doing, okay, if we keep watching so many videos at this kind of a rate?
See, social media is something that you're always watched. Everyone wants to showcase their life as perfect.
Yeah.
That is never, not even close to the perfect. But when others are watching it, they start getting low self-esteem about the way they are living or the kind of clothes they are wearing. So there is, a component wherein one starts to develop low self-esteem after watching lots of photos about others, and then it pushes you into anxiety, depression, restlessness, even sleep deprivation for that matter. Physically, you have eye strain, and then you have headaches because of that, persistent neck pain. Previously, the spondylosis, the neck pains was the problem of after 60 years.
Yeah.
Now, with the phone usage, even people in their 30s and 40s
Yeah.
are developing spondylosis and neck pains.
Wow.
Now, I have in fact seen 3 generations from the same family, like the person grandfather who is 60 years old, and then 30 years old who is into IT job, and then also using old phone. And then I have also started seeing kids as young as 8 and 10 years age coming with neck pain. So this is the amount of impact that it is going to have physically on your spine health. And then there is obesity, because with the phone you are not going out and playing, you are not doing the physical activities, and that is going to push you into obesity and cardiovascular health risks.
So I want to talk a lot more about the other impacts it has. But before that, why is it fundamentally happening? What is contributing to us behaving in this way? You always had devices, you always had TV, but you did other things, right? So what's going wrong?
See, it is one thing is there is the personal factors, and then social factors.
Yeah.
So personal factor is brain always wants quick rewards. That is how the brain has always been. Previously, I think our ancestors, they had to struggle a lot to find food and stay safe. Their entire, I think the studies have revealed that they used to spend 8 to 9 hours in a day just to find food. And because there was not much of cooking, they had to spend a lot of time to just digest the food. And then came safety and reproduction. When all these things became easier, brain wants something more to do quickly and to find more pleasure. There was more free time. And then came farming, cooking, then came industrial revolution. And then came industrial revolution. And then came the internet, which gave this entertainment very quickly. So that is how the people became very, very addicted very quickly. So because you have more time, you don't know how to spend it, you watch it, and then you just enter the loop of dopamine and then overusage.
So let's pick that, right? What is it doing to our social relationships, our family setups? What's going on around us?
People are phubbing their companions or their partners for phoning, for usage of phone. So I've heard this term of phubbing.
No.
It is called phone snubbing. When someone is talking and you snub them and continue to watch your phone, that is phubbing. And that is disastrous for your relationship, because you are giving more importance to your phone than the person who is actually there. You are giving importance to something that is not real than the person who is actually real. So this phubbing is increasing, and that is going to damage the relationships.
And that's happening for any relationship, right? Particularly, I think we take up our core families, our parents, etc., for a little bit for granted, which is a healthy thing also. But I think
even kids, if you are phubbing your kid, you're snubbing, you're pushing away your kid just because you want to watch or shop something on phone.
So parents are doing it to children also.
Parents are doing it to children. Husband is doing it to wife is doing it to husband. There's no relationship that is paired with phubbing.
Wow. Okay. It's a fact. I totally get it. And recently we saw, things have gone viral on Insta as well, where this couple has gone on like a complete holiday. And for anything, the girl is saying, hey, look at the sun. He's like, yeah, sure. Look at this. Yeah, sure. When you come back, we got back on time. Yeah, sure. So you're like, what's going on? The entire holiday, the person has actually been on their phone, whereas the girl has experienced life, right, in the process. So it's really sad.
And scary, and it is sad also.
Yeah.
Because that just says that the small things, the small leaves, these are not giving you sunset, sunrise, wind, natural wind, leaves. These are not giving you pleasure anymore. So when you're watching something on phone, it cannot be replaced by anything that is physically present. So say if you're just seeing a rose, you can see it, you can smell it, you can feel the fine petals on it, and you can put it on you. Can that experience come with the phone? Phone is just audio visual. It is an audio visual, but you cannot experience the physical touch and smell. So you have to stimulate all your senses. There are 5 senses in your body. There is vision, smell, taste, hearing, and touch. If you are just getting hooked to audio visual, all other senses are slowly going to die. And your brain is the brain that is supposed to control this,
Yeah.
which is highly evolved compared to other animals, is going to shrink,
Interesting.
and you are going to turn and develop dementia very early.
Wow, that's unreal.
Yes.
So, what does it do? So, would you say that's Phubbing, right? Phubbing is a result of addiction.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It is. There are no standardized, even WHO has not come out with the terms of phone addiction. Again, overusage. That means you are overusing. If you can ignore the person and then watch phone, that is overusage.
Okay. So it's still that's exactly what I wanted
Exactly.
to
There is
clarify.
very fine line
Yeah.
between addiction
Hmm.
and overusage, just that these definitions have not been formed yet.
Got it.
These are all probably symptoms of addiction.
Sure.
Something that you can stay without, you cannot stay without. So that is an addiction, just that the formal definitions have not been formed yet.
Yeah. I really feel like when I interact with kids in my own family, they're getting ruder and ruder. And their necks are always bent downward. So this must be a common thing in many urban homes, at least, right? Or semi-urban homes. What does it do? What does this overuse or addiction, so to say, do to our time management, our performance in life itself?
Yeah, once you open the phone and then start watching videos, you'll just not realize how much time you have spent on that.
Yeah.
Kids' brain are still developing. Till brain is at birth, your brain is only 25% developed. If you see brain, it has many folds on it, and that is all cortex. So that folds have to increase so that there is more area of cortex. And for that, you have to stimulate all sorts of sensations.
Okay.
So if you're just watching phone and not doing other activities, not all brain parts will develop correctly. And your attention becomes so short that you are always watching phone and you are not getting green time, that any time, any moment your phone is away, you start feeling restless. So it is going to hamper the brain development of kids. It is going to hamper the networks, that all the networks that brain is supposed to develop, and it causes sensory overload to children, and such children become prone for ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity, and even autism. Sensory overload is one classical symptom of autism, because they cannot differentiate, or they cannot see process all the sensations at one time, and that makes them restless.
Okay, that's really scary, because what you're saying is if a child is being fed, for example, early age, 1 year, etc., they start giving you solids, right? And that's when you're gaping at like a mobile phone that's running, that can lead to ADHD.
Yes.
Yeah, I can imagine that happening as well. And that's really scary, right?
Even adults are not spared from this attention deficit hyperactivity due to phone usage. Though their networks have developed, their ability to self-control is slightly better than that of kids, but still it is going to die away if you're overusing the phone.
Fair enough. And so let's come to a part where we've acknowledged the problem. It's really unfortunate that some of these things, I feel like you need definitions faster, right?
Correct.
It's something that's spread around the world. Younger and younger people are getting affected by it. And I'm not really sure what the DSM and American Association is actually doing in psychology, right, with this regard. But having said that, how can you prevent it? How can a person become conscious that, hey, I'm actually overusing it, right? What's that psychological or that brain power that we can tap into to help us understand we're actually getting addicted?
Three classical symptoms of overuse is if you feel restless when you are not using it, if others are telling you that you are overusing it, or if you're lying to others that I'm not using the phone. These are the three symptoms that one has to start realizing. Right?
I'm laughing because, doctor, the second one that you will see in every person that you talk about, right?
Yes.
Including myself, I've been told,
Correct.
hello, like you're using, and I'm like, no, I'm not, So it's a very common thing, right?
That is why, that is how brain is, it doesn't want to accept its insufficiency or inaccuracies. It always thinks that I'm perfect.
Yeah.
So that is the problem. So these three are the classical symptoms. If you feel restless, if you have been told, or if you feel restless when you do not have the phone with you, or if you're lying about it. So then these are the classical symptoms. So what one can do is One is turn off the notifications of all the unimportant devices, be it WhatsApp or email that is not very important. Turn off the notification because the moment you hear a ding, you want to watch it. So that is one thing. Second thing is set a screen-free zone in your home and screen-free time in your day.
Okay.
Be it before the bed or lunchtime, and please do not watch your phone while driving. That can be, disastrous, isn't it?
Yeah.
So second thing is screen-free zone. Be one place. Set one place aside, be it a garden or the balcony. Do not take your phone there. Spend some time there.
Yeah.
So these are the two things that will help you to cut down the screen time to some extent. According to studies, adults, people above 5 years, the screen time should be limited to less than 2 hours. Okay. I know that as IT professionals who have to work long hours on a laptop, they cannot do this. So apart from your non-work, in your non-work time, spend at least 3 hours in the entire waking hours without screen or without internet, without phone. So that should be the goal in modern day.
Sure.
So even kids, be it work, be it home, be it education, media or social media and internet is there everywhere. But you have to spend at least 3 hours of waking hours without phone to keep your brain active.
Sure. And does the medical community have interventions or therapies that we can understand where people can actually, are there methods to help detox, right? Yeah. Or de-addict? Yeah.
First, self-awareness has to be there. One has to be ready. One has to first understand that where you are using it, and then try to seek help.
Yeah.
Yes, medical interventions are there. Things like cognitive behavioral therapy, wherein psychologists make you understand what situations led you to, take refuge in phone. What kind of stressful situations, and how your brain is thinking when you're overusing, and what reward it is getting out of the phone, and how it can be, how the other systems can come in to help you get away from the phone. So this is called cognitive behavior therapy. So number two is there are medications, there are antidepressants, there are even stimulants of the brain that can be used to help you feel better when you are not using the phone. Because if you're having anxiety, depression, ADHD due to phone usage, medications can come into.
So antidepressants are used if you're diagnosed with depression, right? That it's also related to the usage of phone.
Yes, people who have depression, they have higher chances of phone addiction. And also higher phone addiction can help you get depressed. Higher phone addiction makes you depressed faster.
Also,
so this is interlinked.
Yeah,
it's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
So medications have been used to for
and that seemed to be helping people as well. But so CBT is like essentially that's the most cognitive behavioral therapy is the most common.
Is the most common medications and self-awareness, self-motivation. Right? So you have to spend more time in nature, find a hobby, do activities that do not need phone, write a journal, read a book, do gardening, go out and play, travel.
It's so it's all obvious, right? But still people are not able to do it, and that's really the true situation today.
COVID-19 kind of pushed us into it because we were so much inside our home, no exposure outside. I think that is when the maximum impact has happened, and people have started realizing after COVID-19 about more.
And the scary thing is what you said, that the younger generation, Gen Zers, who are the future of our country, are actually mostly overusing and going to probably have a lot of other problems, right? Okay, so here's the thing, right? My family lives abroad in Europe, and my 15-year-old nephew has been continuously, the last so many years, especially after COVID, has been asked to bring the phone, the mobile, to school, check the next classroom, where is the classroom where the session is going to happen, check it on your schedule on the mobile. And all parents have written petitions to the government, to the parliament, saying that, do something about it, change this law, because kids at home are carrying this behavior. So the responsibility of the schools and the schooling system is at question here, but they're not realizing 10-year-olds are being asked to get, and 12-year-olds are being asked to get devices. So what's the expectation we should have from the education system at large, right?
That is unfortunate, isn't it? So, government should come up with something called digital literacy. We have everything now. We know about our health. We have diet literacy. We know health literacy, everything. But then we do not know digital literacy. What we should be using it for, what we should not be using it for. As simple thing as changing the classroom, finding the way in the classroom. If you start using digital media for such things, also your brain networks are going to die. In fact, in UK itself, there was a study done on drivers. Drivers who there are more than 50,000 streets in London itself, apparently. And when they did study on drivers, they found that the brain part, which helps you to navigate through the city, is very well developed in those drivers. That is right-sided brain.
Okay.
And if you are not using your brain and using your phone for that, those networks will not
The
become
maps.
maps for
That's
that.
not always that the maps make you smarter, right?
Yes.
They take you in circles a lot of
Yes,
times.
that, yeah, definitely. So your brain itself has a map.
Yeah.
So if you sit and close your eye and think about your city where you have gone everywhere, your brain can form a map. You can know how much kilometer this place is from. Your brain has your internal map. Your brain also has the external map.
Yeah.
And then you're using it on phone, and then these networks will not get that activation. These synapses, the connection between the neurons will die.
Yeah.
And that is so sad. And people who play music, the again right brain is more developed in. People who are writing are writers. The left part of the brain is more developed in it. So you have to have certain talent. You have to have one hobby that will activate those neurons in the long run, and it will impact the entire brain and entire brain networks.
Yeah. No, that's true, and I hope we are able to sort of fight back optimally the right sort of systems or institutions to actually get some awareness, right? For me, the most shocking thing is when schools ask you to bring mobiles. I cannot understand that.
That is just sad.
How should family members manage themselves and manage the person who's overusing?
Yeah, first thing is parents or the partner, be model yourself. Isn't it? So you do not overuse. You do not overuse. You do not show that restlessness when you are using the phone. Second thing is again set screen-free time and screen-free zones in your home. Encourage them to do more physical activities. Bring them toys. Spend time with them while talking. And never tell kids or the person who are overusing. You do not use the word you. Do not start the sentences with you. Start with I. Do not say you are using the phone and neglecting me. Instead, you play a mind trick. Tell them that I am feeling sad that you are not able to spend more time with me. Start the sentences like this, and that will not make the person be pushed back or feel, kind of
accused of. And it's beautiful. I love it. I love what you're saying. A lot of neuro-linguistic programming is something, those techniques you can actually utilize.
Simple things make a lot of
how you make the person feel about it. But honestly, I see more and more single parents emerging. It is so hard to manage their children. The children are fighting back. And the main way to release the stress of the situation of the family actually breaking up, etc., is through holding on to your technology, your information. It's a proper sort of you're just sort of getting away from the actual problem of your family, etc., and getting hooked onto something else. And this is the reality of modern urban setups. So it is hard for parents.
We are not used to stay calm or stay peacefully anymore. We have forgotten that. We just want to be engaged. We just want those dopamine kicks. We want pleasures all the time. And that will turn us into addicts very fast.
So I know we've had a beautiful conversation, and we're coming closer to the end of our conversation. How do kids or teenagers manage parents who are actually addicted or overusing their phones?
That is a very difficult question to answer, I would say. See, children, unfortunately, their brains are just still developing, especially during the adolescence, wherein they tend to become rebels very easily because they are just started to realize what are they, what is their role in the world, what their future is going to be.
Yeah.
And if they have kids who are if they have parents who are always addicted to phone, that is going to have impact on
Yeah.
them, and that kid is going to suffer.
Totally okay to say that parents have a greater responsibility.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, Dr. Sonia, it's been very, very, very informative. And I've really ended up learning a lot, and sort of getting validation on a lot of your own preconceived notions about the topic. Right? We started with an expectation from the government on a very serious matter on women's well-being in India. Let's end and come back to the government itself. What should the government do? Like you mentioned, there's digital literacy, yes, but what else should they do to empower people to ensure that we don't have a generation that's weaker, where their brains are shrinking, full of ADHD in society, and then you don't know what else, what are the ramifications we're going to have, right? So it's a serious matter that is under discussion. What is the responsibility of the government? What should they do?
Take help of people in psychology and even the healthcare. Take help of people who are into physical fitness, and encourage more, teach people what are the harms of phone over usage are going to be. Run ads on how being addicted to phone can shrink your brain and make you develop dementia much faster
Yeah.
than people who are not using it. After 40 years, your brain is going to shrink every 5% every decade. So if you're overusing the phone, and it is going to shrink your brain faster. So run the ads, bring digital literacy, include chapters in the schools.
Yeah.
So about the digital literacy, and bring certain guidelines in the workplace where they do not have to work 70 plus hours on the laptop.
Yeah, well, Karnataka government for IT is asking you for more work, right?
So do not make someone do that, because the physical work you can do for hours, like driving or seeing patients. Whereas people who work on laptops, it is very unfortunate if they have to work for 12 hours, 13 hours continuously. See the amount of stress it can have on their eyes, brain, neck, and even their mental health. So these are the things that should be taken into consideration.
So one last question on behalf of my 10-year-old nephew. He was watching the laptop and he kept arguing with us because he was watching it the whole day during a holiday. So number one, he says, it's my holiday, it's my holiday. So we're like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. And then finally everybody at home is like, maybe your holiday, but you need to stop it. It's going to spoil your eyes. And he wears glasses already. So he says, I'm looking here at the screen, laptop, or I'm looking there, it's the same thing.
It is not. When you're looking at something away, your eyes are you are watching at things that are very far away. There is nothing, to be to focus there.
Yeah.
The second thing is, it is not stimulating. It is not giving you that dopamine kick. It is not the same. Or even when you read a book, it cannot be the same as watching a phone. When you read a book, you are reading line by line. Your brain is trying to understand it. If there is something about the world around it, your brain is trying to imagine how it is going to be. Whereas in videos, you are pre-fed with a fixed format. You're pre-fed with how a house should look, how a car should look, how a holiday should look, which will kill your imagination. So it can never be the same.
Great. On that note, thank you for joining and sharing so many important points on this important topic for us. Thank you.